Mariah Carey, the enigmatic Shantis and international superstar, stepped into the witness box not as a performer, but as someone who could speak the truth. Her entrance wasn't just shocking, it was seismic. Seconds later, a single, whispered warning floated back from 2 decades ago. If they find out what I really do, it's over. In 8 relentless chapters, we're about to uncover how one night in 2003 and the hush money that followed now threatens to topple a music empire that once looked untouchable. But Diddy's mansion in the Hamptons was only the prologue. Picture the tail end of the millennium. Champagne waterfalls at every label party, CD sales minting instant millionaires, and secrecy cemented with iron-clad NDAs. Mariah ruled the pop charts. Sean Puffy Combs morphed into P. Diddy. Then simply Diddy, weaving himself into every VIP room from TRL rooftops to Grammy after-parties. They bumped shoulders at the 2001 MTV Video Music Awards, where Diddy leaned in with a grin that didn't quite reach his eyes. "You're too clean for this place," he told her, a compliment twisted with something darker. She laughed it off publicly. Privately, the line stuck like a thorn, because whispers already swirled about gated parties where phones vanished into locked pouches and newcomers signed NDAs before the first flute of crystal. To survive that Shark Tank, you needed Alizor armor. And while being seen with Diddy looked like primo protection on red carpets, a quieter set of voices insisted the opposite, that his orbit could swallow careers as quickly as it made them. Mariah kept her distance, convinced glamour and danger were separate lanes. That belief shattered on one fog-heavy July night. Sunset painted Long Island gold when Mariah's SUV rolled through the mansion's private gates to security checkpoints. Tinted windows everywhere, a guest list stacked with moguls and megastars. Her manager called it an optics slam dunk. She called it exhausting. By 10 p.m., she was ready to ghost back to Manhattan till Diddy intercepted her in the foyer. He wore calm like expensive cologne. "VIP lounge?" he asked, palm lightly steering her toward a side corridor draped in velvet. Inside the dim room, 2 bodyguards parked outside. Diddy poured himself a drink and watched her in unnerving silence. Then he spoke the line that would echo for 20 years. "If they find out what I really do, it's over." No smirk, no wink. Just raw dread carved into 7 words. Mariah's pulse jackhammered. She probed, what did he mean? But he pivoted, blocking the door a heartbeat too long before flashing a disarming smile. "I'll take care of you. Just stay quiet." She slipped past, grabbed her coat, and left without goodbyes. At dawn, she checked out of her Hamptons hotel, racing back to the city like fear itself was in the rearview. By midday, a concierge delivered a black box. No return address, her initials in silver ink. Inside, $100,000 in crisp bands and a card that read, "Regarding the time you have available. Enjoy the evening by yourself. S." She locked the cash in a hotel safe, mailed it back weeks later with one line scrawled across the lid. "You know where this belongs." Yet silence carried its own interest rate. Every time she tried to forget that single sentence, "if they find out," clicked open in her head like a vault code. And then Lana vanished. Lana was nobody's headline. Mid-level PR, quick smile, first on the dance floor. Mariah chatted with her briefly that Hamptons night. Lana looked uneasy, mumbling about stumbling into some side room where contracts were being signed under studio lights. Hours later, she disappeared from the party, then from Manhattan itself. 2 months on, Mariah's studio voicemail captured a faint plea. "I shouldn't have seen that. Be careful too." An intern accidentally erased the message that afternoon. When Mariah asked a trusted exec to track Lana down, the answer chilled her. She's been wiped off the map. No socials, no new job posts. Drop it. Years later, when Cassie Ventura settled her own explosive lawsuit for an alleged $20 million within 24 hours of filing. Mariah felt the old fear spike again. It was the same playbook: hush, fast, hush, big. Money can't barricade every secret forever. The retaliation rarely screamed, it whispered. Partnership offers vanished the week Mariah declined to present Diddy a Lifetime Achievement Trophy. Brand campaigns she'd already signed dimmed to radio silence. Anonymous numbers left velvet-gloved. Threats: bad things happen to women who talk too much. Puzzled, she tasked an assistant with tracing a 2008 charity gala Diddy co-sponsored. The paper trail zigzagged through shell corporations registered to mail-drop suites and dissolved within months. Exactly the laundering structure agents would later describe when detailing the 2024 raids that seized drugs, firearms, and hard drives from Diddy's homes. Terrified yet determined, Mariah archived every voicemail, every unsigned NDA that floated across her desk. She promised herself, "If justice ever calls me, I will answer." That call rang in 2025, and it shook the music world like a dropped amp. The stories stayed underground for a decade, but pressure kept building like steam in a sealed pipe. Private blogs leaked bits of alleged NDAs. Former assistants whispered about burner phones and midnight retainer payments. Then, in a single thunderstrike, the speculation caught federal attention. March 25, 2024. Homeland Security agents descended on Diddy's Miami and Los Angeles homes, carting away hard drives, cash bricks, designer drugs, and even armor-piercing ammo evidence prosecutors now call the roadmap to a hidden trafficking. Network news helicopters followed the motorcade. Hashtags jumped from gossip columns to front-page headlines. And for Mariah, one image on the evening broadcast agents rolling out a black safe she'd once seen in that Hamptons side room slammed the past against the present like cymbals. The silence she'd kept for 20 years shattered in that instant. But a raid is just noise until a courtroom microphone turns it into sworn truth. By spring 2025, the U.S. Attorney's Office had stacked charges ranging from sex trafficking to racketeering. If convicted, Diddy faced life behind bars. Journalists camped on the sidewalk. TikTok creators dissected every courtroom sketch. Hashtag Diddy trial topped feeds in 40 countries. Inside, the testimony was graphic. One ex-assistant described freak-offs, pay-to-enter sex parties choreographed for blackmail leverage. Another former girlfriend spoke of manipulation so intense she couldn't say no, her voice cracking on the stand. Cameras weren't allowed, but transcripts leaked within hours, spawning reaction videos, memes, and late-night monologues. On June 13th, Kanye West now legally bestrode into the courthouse in head-to-toe black, declaring he was here to support my brother. The spectacle only sharpened the contrast. One superstar clung to Diddy's side, while another, Mariah, prepared to dismantle his defense. The prosecution still needed a witness the jury would believe over everyone else. When the clerk called Mariah Carey, the room froze, then leaned in as if gravity had tilted toward the witness stand. Her black suit gleamed. Her sunglasses came off like curtains parting on Broadway. Over 3 hours, she recounted the Hamptons confession, the black box hush money, Lana's disappearance, and the quiet corporate punishments that followed her refusal to play along. Each detail stitched a timeline straight through the government's ledger of raids and shell companies. Gasps rippled when prosecutors displayed a hotel security log tying the courier who delivered Mariah's cash to a rental SUV used by a bad boy employee now under indictment. That night, 2 former bad boy executives reportedly accepted immunity in exchange for testimony on similar payouts. Brands that once paid 7 figures for a Diddy endorsement sprinted to scrub his image from upcoming campaigns. The fall of an empire doesn't end with broken contracts. It ends with broken silence. Cassie Ventura's lightning-fast settlement in 2023 had looked like a footnote. Now it read like a warning flare. Everyone ignored. As Mariah's testimony aired on every network, more women approached prosecutors, some armed with NDA-stamped envelopes they'd kept in dusty fire safes. Within days, publicists mailed no-comment statements while quietly deleting archive photos. Radio stations yanked classic bad boy cuts from happy hour rotations. Music forums, once obsessed with chart trivia, debated whether award shows should revoke lifetime honors. Industry veterans compared the mood to #me to single quotes as 2017 tipping point. Chepped. This time, the epicenter was hip-hop, and the witness list read like a Grammy playbill. A juror later told a reporter off the record, when she looked at him, he knew it was over. Everyone watching had felt the same static charge shift. What happens when the whistle comes from a throat famous for 5-octave runs? Walls crack, history rewrites itself in real time, and the cost of silence finally outweighs the fear of speaking. Diddy's verdict is still weeks away, but the cultural judgment is already echoing across studios and boardrooms. NDAs can't outlast collective memory, and hush money can't erase a superstar's sworn oath. If one testimony can rattle an empire, how many untold stories are still barricaded behind studio doors? Drop your thoughts below. Which secrets will surface next, and who else might step forward now that the spell is broken? Remember Mariah's words the night she reclaimed her voice. If they find out what I really do, it's over. But maybe the world just found out. Stay tuned. Our next deep dive unpacks the artists who nearly testified but vanished from the spotlight instead. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the revelations still to come. 12 months later, the verdict is etched into public memory, but the aftershocks still rattle studio halls. Some labels adopt open-door audits, inviting third-party lawyers to inspect past NDAs. Streaming platforms add pop-ups beneath certain tracks. Artist currently under investigation deals here. It isn't censorship, it's context, and it proves one testimony can flip an entire industry's risk assessment model overnight. In the wake of Mariah's stand, mid-tier artists once dismissed as bitter ex-employees begin releasing video statements of their own. A former choreographer describes cameras hidden behind mirrored walls at mansion parties. A Grammy-winning songwriter swears she watched contracts rewritten in real time as leverage for silence. Their clips trend for days, but the real power lies in how fast fans rally. #WeHearYou dominates feeds, drowning out trolls trying to spin conspiracy jargon. Silence doesn't vanish on its own. It's pushed out by daylight. If you're watching this, stay curious. When headlines feel recycled, dig for primary document court filings, deposition transcripts. Support whistleblowers. Streams and downloads matter, but so does following, sharing, and donating to advocacy groups that provide legal aid. Demand transparency. Tweet platforms, tag labels, ask why certain policies remain closed door. Change accelerates when the audience treats truth like a playlist and repeat until it sticks. We're only halfway through the maze. In our next deep dive, we'll unmask the shadow executives who allegedly brokered NDAs between major labels and private security. Firms' names that rarely hit the credits but pull million-dollar strings. Behind the scenes, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the drop. Because if Mariah taught us anything, it's that the stage lights are brightest when someone finally calls. House lights up.